Hi everyone, my name is Cassie and welcome to my channel, The Bookish 4 Eyes. I feel like I haven't been here in so long. I think the last video I posted was in like February of last year. And then I took this super long hiatus from posting, and I guess at the beginning of this year I just sort of felt like I was missing something, and I thought, why don't I just go back to posting videos on my channel. I hope 2017 was great for you, since we didn't keep in touch that much, and if you're still on YouTube, then I'm looking forward to seeing all of your videos. This video is going to be the best books of 2017, since I haven't really shared a lot. Just to wrap things up a bit for 2017, I did the Goodreads challenge. I tried to read, I think, 40 books. I failed that challenge. This is my second year in a row of failing the Goodreads reading challenge, and I think I'm okay with that. For 2018, my goal is to read 50 books, so hopefully I'll achieve that goal. I'm also doing a Pop Sugar reading challenge for 2018. This is my first year ever trying that, but I think all of the categories looked very interesting, and I think it'll help me stay on track and read a lot of the books that I have sitting on my shelves. Luckily, a bunch of them fit very well for a lot of the categories, so I think that that's going to be good for whenever I have to keep up with the challenge. So as far as best books of 2017, I read 40-something books. I was just a couple books short of finishing the challenge. But anyways, 2 books I talked about on my channel already last year. They're The Things We Lost in the Fire, which is a collection of short stories, and Faithful by Alice Hoffman. I'm not going to talk about those anymore, but you can see the pictures of those books. And now there is just 4 books that got 5 stars from me last year. I guess I'm very stingy when it comes to book ratings, and not a lot of them get 5 stars, but I feel like the ones that do are usually the best of the best. So let's get right to it. The first book I may have mentioned briefly. It's called The Age of Miracles. It's by Karen Thompson Walker. I've never heard of this author before. I haven't seen anyone talk about this book, so I just picked it up randomly on a whim, and it turned out to be pretty good. This book is about the Earth slowing down its rotations, so things are changing, like the day gets longer, it affects the gravity, it affects a bunch of different things. And this book, while focusing on that aspect of it, it also focused on the main character, Julia, and her family. And her family life sort of deteriorates in the same manner as the whole world does, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know that this is a young adult book, but it's definitely an easy read. It has some, serious subject matter in it as well, but definitely a very enjoyable read, and I didn't really expect to love it as much as I did, so I highly recommend this book. The second book that I read, which I gave 5 stars to, is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I've never read any of her other books. I don't know if this is her first book, but I really, really enjoyed it. This is about a single mother who moves into a new area, and she starts her new job, I think as a receptionist. I can't remember. And she meets a man one night while she's out at a local bar, and he seems really nice, and they sort of share a kiss, but it turns out that he's married and she works with him. So that makes things very awkward, very fast, and also she begins to uncover kind of questionable things about her boss and his marriage. She ends up meeting his wife, and she just feels like there's something very off about their whole relationship. This book is pretty interesting because you always doubt what is real and what isn't, and there's a bunch of different perspectives. The book does jump around a little bit from past to present, but the ending, I have to tell you, there's no way I could have expected that to happen. The ending is just absolutely mind-blowing, and just for that I highly recommend this book. I feel like the ending, it's just not something that you could even predict and imagine. So if you like books like that, definitely give this one a go. The next book took me a while to read. It's called The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I've tried it in the past, I couldn't get into it, so I gave it up. It's a pretty hefty book, so it does take a bit of commitment, but this time around when I tried it, I just got right into it. Her writing's very good, it's just easy to follow, the story is magnificent, it just feels like, I don't know, 10 different stories in one. It just blew my mind. This is about a young boy, like in his teens, who lost his mother in in an accident that happened at the Met in New York, and his life spirals out of control. He has to go live with his dad. He goes kind of all over the country, and there's just some pieces that are all connected together. It's just a fabulous read, and if you haven't picked it up yet, I highly recommend it. Finally, the last book, and it's also nonfiction, it's called Evicted by Matthew Desmond, and it was a great read. This book addresses poverty, and he went and looked at poverty in Milwaukee. He follows a bunch of different families through their struggles of finding a suitable home to live, their financial troubles, just so many interesting insights into people struggling to find a stable home to live in, all the problems with the system of finding homes, the whole rental processes, trailer parks, just all the things that are in here, and it just makes you realize how big the problems actually are and how tough it is to fix them and what needs to be done to sort of help those people out and make sure that they don't end up on the streets and they can actually afford their home. So a great nonfiction book. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good nonfiction to read. Finally, the book I'm reading right now, it's called The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I've heard a lot about it. I just finished my last book last night, so I haven't started reading this yet. Very excited for it. I've heard good things. Gillian Flynn said it was good. I believe her. Stephen King said it was good. I believe him. So I have very high expectations for this one, and I'm really excited. It has all the right little bits and pieces of a thriller that I enjoy, so I have really highest of hopes for this. This is about a woman who moves into a new house, and she doesn't really leave the house much, so she just drinks wine and looks out the window at her neighbors. There's a new family that moves in across the street, and she begins sort of keeping an eye out on them, and then one day she sees something she shouldn't have seen. Sounds good enough for me. I'm really excited to read it. If you've read this book, please let me know what you thought, whether it lived up to your expectations or not. So that's it for my best books of 2017. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, and also please let me know which books were your favorite books of 2017. It's great to be back. Let me know what you've been up to, what books you read, and I hope you're having a great 2018. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.